Modern day feminism definitely isn't biblical, and if you're a Bible believing Christian, it definitely shouldn't be in part of your worldview. Now, I'm going to back this up with the Bible, and before you fly away and just name me misogynist or something like this, like everyone does in this current day and age, when they can't hold a debate, they just want to label something or discredit the other side. Give me a second, because I'm going to give you everything from the Bible. Then it's probably not what you think as well, and I'm also going to give you my angle on it. So give me 5 minutes of your time, and if you're bored by then, skip on. Okay. So I'm going to start with laying out the ground rules here. Is all going to be from the Bible, and then I'll put my commentary onto it. But everything has to be grounded in the Word. So start with Ephesians 5:22. It goes, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Saviour of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it." So before I comment on that one, I'm going to flip to 1 Corinthians 11, which says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is man, and the head of Christ is God." And one more, we're going to go to Colossians 3:18. "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, and it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them." Okay, so there's more, but I'm going to go with that. Let's flip to the top and go back to Ephesians. It says at the end of Ephesians, like if you can see the common theme in here, that the man is the head of wife, and the wife should submit unto the husband. So what does this mean? Is this modern day misogynism? Is it just the guys they want power and they just want to, put their dominion over their wives? Or is it deeper than that? And that's how the modern day has spun it. So it says for the wives to submit themselves unto the husbands, but what does it say in Ephesians here? "Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it." So this comes with a condition that if the wife is to submit themselves to the husband is to love the wife as Christ loved the church. What did he do for the church? He died for it. He sacrificed himself for the church. And I think any true masculine man would realize that or know that the biggest driving force in our life is purpose. It's not stuff. Everything's kind of gone sideways these days. We've got people sipping soy lattes left, right, and center, and focusing more about themselves and not having children and just trying to get self gratification and more holidays and stuff like this. I've got 5 kids. And so I'm not talking from just the outside here, the husbands are to submit themselves as Christ submitted himself to the church. A man's life is tough. We are meant to provide for our women, for our wives, but we are also meant to sacrifice ourselves for them. I know for me personally, the best thing I can ever do is feel purpose. And the best way I feel purpose is when I'm sacrificing myself for my family. There's nothing really that I do in my life now that is sort of self-gratification. I don't do things just for me. Maybe I'll work out, but that is to get through the stress and all the things I have to do to run my business and stuff like this to provide for my family. I used to own a gym, and I grew that from very small to a big substantial gym, and that meant that I had to get up at ridiculous o'clock in the morning for about 8 years. The amount of times when I'm leaving absolutely exhausted, look behind me and see my wife sleeping with my children there, and I go, that's why I'm doing this. And then I go. So it asks for the wives to submit themselves to their husbands, but I get the wife side as well. Or should I say, you men need to get the wife side as well. You have to be worth submitting to. If you are focusing on yourself and why me, poor me, and all the things that are happening these days, then no one's going to submit themselves to you. But if your life is dedicated to your wife and you are worthy that she goes, you know what? I submit to him, I follow him because I know not only will he think of what's best for me, he will sacrifice himself for me. Yeah. So was life with a crazy household with 5 kids, hey? So all of this biblically goes back to the garden. Let's go to Genesis. Now, when did sin enter the world? Was it when Eve ate the fruit from the garden, then sin entered? No. Eve ate the fruit, sin didn't enter. When did it enter? When Adam ate. Did he eat before or after Eve? After. Think about that. That's very interesting. And then when God's walking through the garden and they hide because of their nakedness, what does God say to Adam? He doesn't say, because you ate the fruit, does he? He says, because you... Well, let's read from it. This is from Genesis 3:17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife. Interesting. So because he was... Other versions say because you were deceived, or because you listened to the woman, because you were deceived by the woman. There's all sorts of versions. But it basically goes through that. That's the core of it, and people are trying to translate around the same thing of because you listened to your wife. Now, the wife then says, I was tricked this way, and they're all passing the buck. They're all doing wrong. But ultimately, Adam was responsible for her. Where was wife from? The man. The wife was made from man to be man's helper. Now, it's interesting that the way that it always brings up the word helper in the Bible is in the same wording, is the same way that God speaks about Jesus to himself. So women that get triggered by the word helper, that would be like getting triggered Jesus with God. Like, they have different roles. They are both infinitely valuable. This is where things are getting messed up, is that modern day feminism is saying that guys are trying to have all this dominion and power and you've got to do this. And now we've got women now doing OnlyFans for liberation. It's insane. And I think anyone can obviously see that the further we go down this road, the worse it's becoming, and how it becomes more and more destructive. What happens when this kind of mindset comes in? It comes further away from truth and more into feeling, when everything should be done on fact and what is true. If you profess to be Christian, then you have to point to the word of God and you have to prove or disprove from there. And where we've got right now, it's female pastors in the church. Now, not only does it say that shouldn't happen, and it even says not only should it happen, it says that women should not have dominion over men. So women should not be over and be talking about this, because because the females get deceived easier. Now, before everyone gets triggered, it's true. It's absolutely true. And I know all the females that I've known in my life, they get more caught up in the emotional, whereas the men in my life can all go, this is pretty painful right now, but we're heading down there. I will put up with this pain. I will put up with someone thinking of me a certain way. I'll put up with putting myself on the internet right now, knowing this is the most controversial thing and people are going to hate me for it. If it gets through to the right people and this message gets in the right way, I'm happy to take this hit and not be popular for the goal down there. Whereas most females would be worried more about what are they thinking of me, what they're saying about me, what's being said. A lot is more about the initial connection rather than the overall result. And so that speaks and reflects all the way through the Bible. And when it says the man is the head of woman, it is as Christ is the head of man. And so if it works down ways, right? If the man is not submitting to Christ, then fair enough. The woman shouldn't submit to him. Like, who are you going to follow this guy? We're talking about Christians here. This guy is not following anything biblical. He's not being a righteous man. He's not chasing after God. He's just chasing after himself. Different kettle of fish. We're talking about something else here. But if the man is following Christ, then he will in turn be sacrificing himself for you. And then you sacrifice yourself for him, because knowing that whatever he's doing right now is for your good over him. He will die for you as Christ died for the church. That is biblical masculinity, femininity, and the order of things. So I'll keep it short because I'm no YouTuber. I do things for lots of clients and businesses, but I just felt a conviction to be speaking and sending this stuff out. I've actually done more higher production things that you can check on the channel on was it? If Jesus was God, why is he my God, why have you forsaken me? Go check that out. You can go see on there. But let's leave it at that. If anyone sees this and you disagree, I respect that, but I also want you to prove me wrong via the scriptures. Point to it, show me, and let's have that talk. You can't just go off feelings, because even Jesus said, don't follow your own heart, right? It's deceitfully wicked. And the reason that we're not following the orders, not the other way around, is because of the over emotional being beguiled and being caught off and led astray by everything else around you. Show me, prove me. Peace out.